Hi, this is Sophie recording live from Tev's room, and my topic was about the environmental movement. So, the first slide is about DDT. So, DDT was a pesticide that was available for civilian use in 1945. Edwin Way Teal said, "A spray as indiscriminate as DDT can upset the economy of nature as much as a revolution upsets social economy. 90% of all insects are good, and if they are killed, things go out of kilter right away." So he was basically just talking about how a spray that can kill insects so easily, it can't be any good because a lot of insects are actually beneficial, so they shouldn't all die, otherwise things will go out of balance. So in these two pictures, one of them is an ad for DDT. It says control of household pests, so you can see a woman spraying it in her house. And then the other one, you can see a plane spraying DDT over a field of crops, so that's definitely going to kill a lot of the insects, and many of them are actually beneficial to the environment. Alright, so Silent Springs was a book that was written by Rachel Carson. So she's the author of Silent Springs, and her book convinced people that regulating industry was necessary. This was the birth of the environmental movement. Her book pointed out the threats pollutions have on our environment. Their threats include the contamination of the food chain, cancer, genetic damage, and deaths of entire species. So under that third blank, you can write deaths of entire species. She actually spoke on a CBS documentary about her book, and she said that man's attitude toward nature is today critically important, simply because we have now acquired a fateful power to alter and destroy nature. But man is a part of nature, and his war against nature is inevitably a war against himself. We are challenged as mankind has never been challenged before to prove our maturity and our mastery, not of nature, but of ourselves. So here, this picture, it's just another ad for DDT for insect killer. So you can see it says murder flying pests. So it's definitely showing the negative side of bugs and not pointing out any of the positive aspects of having insects around. So also I'm talking about the creation of national parks. So Roosevelt was very influential in this. He got a lot of national parks to be created. He got people to really see the benefit and how important it is to preserve nature and its beauty. So some of the parks that he was responsible for creating and helping them be protected was Mesa Verde and Crater Lake. So on the right, you can see it's Mesa Verde, which I believe is in Colorado, and then on the left is Crater Lake. So he was commemorated by 5 park systems. So that answer is 5. Alright, now I'm talking about First Earth Day. So inspired by many protests and teach-ins that were occurring worldwide throughout the 1960s, Senator Gaylord Nelson proposed in 1969 that there be a nationwide grassroots demonstration on behalf of the environment. So the first Earth Day was then celebrated on April 22nd, 1970, and they just chose this date because it didn't interfere with any school schedules or any holidays. So that's why that date was chosen, and also for the warm weather. So people across the country had been looking for a way to express their growing concern for the environment, so the Earth Day really helped them to express their concern and feel involved. And lastly, I'm talking about oil spills. So you can see these images are really impactful and sad. You can see a bird on the right. He's covered in oil, and he will most likely die or died from it because he can't fly again. So the 3 biggest oil spills that have happened in the United States are the Santa Barbara oil spill, the Exxon Valdez tanker collision, and the BP oil spill. So a quote from, I believe it was the Santa Barbara oil spill, a man said that he saw a duck covered with oil about half mile up the beach, and he drowned. He was trying to fly, but his wings were so heavy that he just went under the waves and he didn't come up again. So it's very sad. You can see on the left there's a picture of how they would attempt to clean up an oil spill by separating the sections of water and then scraping the oil off the top. Alright, and lastly there's some more images of the oil spills. On the left there's a picture of one of the tankers in the Exxon Valdez tanker collision, and you can see all the oil and the water. And then on the right you can see, I think this image is the most impactful, of the bird that's trying to fly, but you can see its wings are all covered in oil and stripped of their feathers as a result of the oil spill. So that's it for the environmental movement. Thanks for listening.